I remember when I was quite young, I was in my early teenage years. I was working with a Hungarian chess player, and somehow people were getting hold of like your early database, and so it went around some of your early analysis. I think it probably finished in like I don't know how this got leaked, but in probably finished in like mid '90s or so. I mean, this was very interesting to see. I'm not sure how this even got around in Hungarian circles, but like the most interesting thing to see was like what openings that you were working on back then compared to what we work on these days.
Look, my old databases. So this is when you look at them. And when I left professional chess, I think I had more than 10,000 various analysis there. So, and I probably used 20% of what had been analyzed. Somehow I was very conservative in my approach. So I analyzed tons of various things, but I just always ended up with playing, few openings that I never could make a choice, what's the right, what was the right approach, either to do few openings that I knew well, or just, to broaden my repertoire. So after Kramnik match, I made some effort, so I just it's just I already played some around, but I also added the Slav with A6, so which it worked very well. With white is easier because with white I shifted from E4 D4, so that was even C4. So, but with black I somehow just I remained very conservative in my approach,
So you were not concerned that you will be targeted. You felt quite secure with your analysis.
Look, we worked really hard, and I can hardly recall a moment where in my favorite lines, I was surprised by my opponents. So there were a few duels we had. For instance, one was Vichy in Najdorf, that's in 1989 in Linares 99. But I always was somehow half a step ahead of them. Of course, most of this analysis, you go back to the 80s or 90s, they were not really, just by modern standards. It's as I said in my book, it's not a joke, but it's like, I thought I had a magic sword, but it actually was a broken knife. But it's what actually, it's what I knew, and that was probably a very important element of this, again, of this passionate work, is that somehow I ended up realizing that even if my analysis, would not bring me an immediate, result, so that it's very mysterious, but amount of work somehow helped me to get things through. I don't know why. So there's no direct connection. You did tons of work here and there. It's very few of the ideas that worked out that ever materialized on the board. But somehow it's like a payday. So this is later in the game. So I found some combinations, some good moves that were not directly related to my work, but I knew that this connection, so which probably was another motivation for me to keep working more and more.
Could it be psychology? Like, let's say, gives you confidence, or even reduces the confidence of your opponent, which manifests in some way later in the game?
Most likely, yes, because it's we need to have we need to find a rational explanation. So this again, it's there's so many moments where I had this is great idea. Now I'm getting this done. No, it just didn't work out. But somehow, this is later on, either in this game or in other games, the work you've done before somehow manifests and helps you to improve your performance.
I've noticed this myself, both in games where I prepare something and it doesn't work out, as you mentioned, but still later in the game, it somehow benefits you in some way. But also, sometimes you play a sideline, which you haven't prepared well, and you get a good position. Like, for example, this game of Anish against Lenier from recent Singfield Cup. He plays G3 first move, he gets a good position, but game kind of goes out of control. Like, you put yourself in that mode where you're not really in control from the start, and this sort of weakens you, I feel, potentially. I mean, I can't say for certain.
But I think you're absolutely right. We're all humans. So that's why it is the psychological factor could be as important, sometimes even more important than the quality of the position. So it's about having comfort with what you're doing, and the opposite is also correct. You could have a great position, but if for some reasons you are not happy with whatever, so you could easily blow it up.
Yeah, this sounds like intangible.